Good morning, I'm Sunetra Choudhury, National Political Editor of the Hindustan Times, bringing you all the best from our pages on Wednesday, April 22nd. April 22nd marks 1 month of all of us being in lockdown. Remember, March 22nd was the day when Prime Minister announced the Janta curfew. So our first story is all about numbers. We've now crossed the 20,000 mark. Total number of infections stands at 20,004. The number of people who've died is 644. And when we talk about numbers, the good news is that we're now doubling only in 8 days. That's a long way from the 3 days that's there in the US and how we were in March. So we've come a long way since then. And the thing is that it took 37 days for us to reach the first 5,000 cases. However, to go from 15,000 cases to 20,000 cases, that just took 3 days. So these are just some things to keep in mind. And the other worrying thing is that Gujarat, the number of infections is doubling in 4 days. So it's quicker. It's across the country, it's 8 days, but in Gujarat, it's just in 4 days. And Maharashtra is also, out of the 20,000 cases, Maharashtra accounts for 5,000 of them. So these are some things to keep in mind. And remember, experts are pointing out that we may have averted those very high numbers, but it's also because of the lockdown. The lockdown will be lifted at some point, and that's the worrying point. The second story, which is also of concern, is what's happening with the economy. And a survey that has been done by FICCI says that if we don't have a stimulus package soon, the second stimulus package soon, then we might see permanent damage. They've also done a survey which says 3/4 of companies that were surveyed will have to lay off people if they don't get some help soon. And they say, FICCI and others who've put in requests to the government, they say they need a 9 to 10 lakh crore package and stimulus as soon as possible. Today, the Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs is going to meet. The Cabinet's also going to meet. So hopefully, we should have some news on that. We've heard no news from that till now. The next story that we have for you is the story of a 62-year-old woman in Kerala who contracted coronavirus from some people who had returned from Italy. Now, a lot of the people who had got infected with her have been cured and have gone home, but this woman has tested positive after 19 tests. She's been treated for the last 42 days, and even though she shows no symptoms at all, none at all, she's totally asymptomatic, she's still going on testing positive after positive. So doctors are a bit of a loss at what is happening, and also they can't let her go home because she may be at risk to other people. She may be asymptomatic, but she might infect other people. The next story is a moving story. Remember the pizza delivery person who had contracted coronavirus in Delhi and was said to have set off alarm bells across the city? Well, he is now in hospital, and Hindustan Times has managed to speak with him. And the good news is that all of his contacts, all the people who he delivered to, who were registered as high contact, all of them have tested negative. So Hindustan Times, when we spoke with him, he gave us this amazing story about how a lot of the people who were his customers, 15 customers in fact, other than just one person, all of them called up with messages of concern, messages of caring. They all told him to call them if he needed anything, which just shows how much human kindness people are capable of. Only one person blamed him for not revealing his status, which of course he himself didn't know. The 19-year-old from Balia said after he's well and good, he's going to go back home. And finally, the amazing story of a person that HT salutes. It's of a bus conductor, an employee of the bus corporation in Mumbai. He had to report to work to Palghar on Sunday, and that's been his duty to ferry a lot of the medical staff. Well, guess what? Usually the 21 kilometers from his home to where he starts his work, he usually hitches a ride from trucks carrying essential supplies. Now, on Sunday, the trucks weren't plying. So guess what he did? Well, it helped that he was trained to be a marathon runner, so he ran 21 kilometers. He asked his wife to pack him some glucose bottle and some other refreshments that he needed. He just ran to work 21 kilometers, and he showed up for work so that he could take the medical practitioners to their work so that they could help coronavirus fight and those who were suffering from it. It also helped perhaps that his daughters are also healthcare workers, nurses and medical professionals. That's all the news that we have for now. Stay tuned to HindustanTimes.com for all the latest updates.